How
This
you
call is
doing?
being recorded.
I'm feeling amazing this morning. Watching the sun come up while the snow is on the ground. But feeling, let me tell you, it's been a rough one, man. So this week has
Yeah.
started out with some serious resistance. Man, it's been rough, but it's been good, man. We had an amazing yesterday, a turbulent yesterday, but so many winks that I got from God. Uh, but the turbulence is real, and I know that I'm going through it. Um, but it lets me know I'm in the right place. It lets me know that what we as a company have been sharing, what we as people and leaders in the company and messengers, what we have been sharing has been so powerful. And let me tell you, somebody doesn't like it. Um, that motivates me even more. Let me tell you, that empowers me even more. So I don't regurgitate a lot, but I want you all to take a walk with me through some of the messaging that I heard this week coming from our CEO, Pastor Dan, and Kai and Kathy. So I want to dive right into that. And prayerfully, you'll go listen to recordings um, so that you can be empowered just like I am. So I want to start out by saying, man, our CEO gave a very, 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 very powerful message. Um, and that message was talking about, uh, she made it simple, and she was talking about three frogs, right? And to just kind of sum it up, she talked about three frogs and how these three frogs were trying to jump out of a container. And only one of them made it, and that one frog was deaf. That one frog could not hear. And I'm going to leave that right there because I want to come back to that because there's something real powerful in that. So the one frog that made it out was deaf. Pastor Dan really hit it on the nail. And I always, and I'm starting off with this, y'all, because it's always good to ask somebody what stuck out to them the most and what was their biggest takeaway. And I hope you have a pen and paper because you're going to need it. You're going to need to look back at this to ask yourselves what stuck out to you the most. What was your biggest takeaway? So I'm regurgitating on what stuck out to me the most. Pastor Dan spoke about purpose. But he did it in a way that challenged us to ask this magic question: where do we go from here? And I hope you all wrote that question down. Where do you go from here? Now, a lot of times we'll be like, you know what? Are we there yet? Nope. Are we there yet? Nope. And then that question, hearing the answer no, how do you recover? From the breakdown, from the resistance, from the no's, and he pretty much said, get your bearings, recalibrate, line up your goals, and remember your purpose. Wash and repeat. Where do we go from here? Are we there yet? Nope. Are we there yet? Nope. Are we there yet? No. It's okay, right? How do you recover from the breakdown, from the resistance, from the no's? Get your bearings, recalibrate, line up your goals, remember your purpose, wash and repeat. So powerful. Man, then I heard the Kai and Kathy show. Man, I love the power that comes through the Kai and Kathy show. And the Kai and Kathy show was pretty empowering. And we were empowered to be challenged to think like a leader and take certain actions. And it was really smooth the way they put it, and I'm gonna put it like this, the way I heard it. Because because everybody might not want to be a leader. But it was empowering the way they shared it, where the way that I languaged it to myself was, well, take certain actions, especially if we're considering anything close to working with people. Let me repeat that again. They empowered us to think like this, maybe even to think like a leader, even if you're not considering that you want to be a leader. And that's okay. However, if we are considering anything close to working with people, then we have to take certain actions. We have to take on the disposition and a positive action so that we can lead, right? Or be influential, one or the other. Or even, like I say, even in leadership, maybe that's not it. Maybe it's not being a leader. But would you want to be influential to the people that you talk to, where they would hear what you have to say? So I'm not going to go through all the action steps that they talk about, but I tell you, they were amazing. You should listen to the call and listen to the recording, because it did something for my life. It did something for that day. All of them and everything that I heard, I'm like, man, how do you grasp it? And what is the next power for all of that? And it hit me hard, and it's hard to really say, because, man, what I'm about to say, it was a gut punch. Message always starts with me. And it was so profound. I think this might be one of the most powerful things after sharing all of that you would hear coming from me. And that powerful statement that I believe that the Lord shared with me, and it's something afterwards, so I hope you got your pen and paper, because you're going to have to write this down. I have to write it down. And it was said to me that none of those things and none of these things happen without your belief. Whoa. Wait a minute. None of these things happen without your belief. So that frog who was deaf and didn't hear the negativity of what somebody might have said to him that he couldn't get out of that box or out of that container, he couldn't hear the inputs of negativity. So in his mind, I'm thinking, we say blind faith, but I got to start saying deaf and blind faith. That's what got him out of that box. Because he knew that maybe there's a purpose for me outside of this box. That's my belief. So today, I want you to write down this word, this sentence. I want to challenge, and I'm challenging even in myself, my belief system. Okay. This one is about it hurt me, it hit me, it hurt me, it hit me, because I know that my belief system is my faith. So if it's my faith, that's my belief system. And when I go through everything that everybody just shared, wait a minute, you got to break that down a little bit more. So I want you to write down what I have in my paper. On my paper, I have faith equals belief plus action. Faith equals belief plus action. Right? And I want you to write an equal sign. Faith equal sign, belief plus sign, action. Well, where are you going with this, Minister Mooney? Okay. So right up under that, I said, okay, faith equals, and under the word action, I wrote the word work. So it's as simple, is it as simple, Minister Mooney, as we always hear? that faith without work is dead, or just saying that we have first and saying that we believe something will happen? Wait a minute. If I don't take action with what it is that I believe, if I don't take consistent action like the frog and keep jumping, then does that question my faith? Yes, it does. This is why I said I need to challenge, and I had been challenged in my belief system. So there's something, let me take it to science. I want you to write this word down. ENTROPY. Entropy. There's something, and I want you to do your research because I did mine. And there's the law of entry. And it's a simple definition. Disorder increases over time. And I want to prove this. Disorder increases over time. So the way that this goes is that over time, if you don't use it, you will lose it. Ooh, wait a minute. Say that one more time. Things decay over time. And if you don't use it, according to the law of entropy, you will lose it. Well, give me an example. Things decay if you don't put them in use for what they are built for. Let me repeat. Things decay if you don't put them in use for what they are built for. Now, is that also pertaining to our belief? Yes, it is. If you don't put them in action, it will decay. It will fade in the wind. Wait a minute. Faith without work? Yep. If you don't put that work with that belief, you can possibly lose faith. You may not even, we have to measure it, and we have to constantly build on our faith. So purpose is a big deal. You have to know what your purpose is. You have to know why you were built. See, and let me give a simple example of belief. Let me give a testimony of belief. So yeah, I have a daughter, 29 years old. My daughter, you guys, I'm 33 years since I was diagnosed with cancer. The doctor said, right? The doctor said, now, right after I was diagnosed with cancer, a couple years later, right? Daughter, young lady pregnant with my daughter. Y'all, the doctor was like, daughter's going to come out with defective because of the chemotherapy and radiation. My belief said different. My belief said, no, she's not. I have a beautiful daughter, 29 years old, with no side effects from cancer, from chemotherapy, from radiation, right? That possibly, according to doctors, it wouldn't have happened. It's not normal. Let me give you another thing. My fight with cancer, had to be a belief, right? Because again, the doctors did say you're not going to be able to have kids. You're not going to be able to do this. You're going to lose brain activity because of radiation to the brain. It might take me a little long, but my belief said it's not going to happen the way that you say it's going to happen, and putting that action with that faith and continue to jump in and move forward is why it has not happened. And the thing that you believe, that I believe happens, moves into position. That doesn't matter if the car don't start, it's going to start. That doesn't matter if you don't have a partner, a customer, I don't care what it is. If you believe it, it will happen, and especially if you put the action towards it. And that is a measure of your faith because we can't do it without God. It might be like, all right, minister, you're preaching a little bit. So let me talk about entropy, you all. Let me just show you what happens as an outcome. And I'm just challenging your system of belief. So let me give a real life example of if you don't lose it, you will lose it. If you do not believe, then the opposite will happen. And then we have to question certain things. So let me just give you an simple example. If you were to put, according to the law of entropy, if you don't use it, you will lose it. If you were to put a sheet of paper on the table and never touch it, never write of it, the edges of that paper will curl up. It will start to get decay. It will not be in its same condition because you ain't using it, right? If that car sits in the garage and you do not move it, doesn't matter if it's brand new. If you don't use it, you will lose it. It will decay. It will rust out. It will eventually not start. Your body, if you do not move it, you will lose it. If you don't put what's good, if you don't believe that you can get the outcome, and if you don't push in that direction, if you don't have the faith that you can turn things around, you will lose it. It will decay. If you don't lose it, you will lose it. My whole goal of this particular call, Message Starts With Me, is that we have to challenge our belief system while we have all these amazing things that God has given us as the leaders who have shared with us this week. We have all these amazing things that we can put into play. But let me tell you, your belief has to be there starting now while putting action towards it. And that is looking at your faith. So what do? We get with God. We get in the right spirit. We get in around the right people, and we strengthen that faith based off of what? Sometimes what we see, good inputs, all of these things that we have that are common, all of these things that you possibly want to build with your family. So with that being said, I'm a little emotional, but I pray that you receive the message that I shared, right? And what? I'm going to give it back to Kathy, but before we do so, I'm going to close out because this is a faith decree that comes from our CEO. She says what? We will see you at the top, the very top, the tip top, and taking it even further, busting through the top. Back to you, Kathy.
Wow, I appreciate you being so raw and open with us. Yes, you did feed into us. So I appreciate you sharing that. Everything that you shared. I know that people are walking away with what they needed this morning. So thank you so much, Willie. And you guys, don't forget, we have rebounding coming up right after this call. And make sure that you focus in as Willie just talked to you about. So guys, have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. Goodbye now.